Merry Monday, everybody. This is Mary J. You are listening to Real Talk Mary J. Real Talk Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome. And I hope you're having a happy Merry Monday right where you are on today. We are having a happy Merry Monday. I am so excited to be sharing once again, to talk to you all about my new book, Intrigue. Intrigue, it's so intriguing. Listen, and I have an amazing, intriguing guest that is sharing with me once again. I am so happy to have her back in studio with me on today. She is the lovely Amy Bolding. Hold on a second, guys. Welcome, Amy. Welcome to the show. Somebody just started calling me. I forgot to turn my phone off. But thank you coming on, Amy. Author, certified motivational speaker, Les Brown Power Voice speaker, Pickled Heart LLC has cloned and trademarked the slogan, I will, I can, and I am worth it. You are so worth it. And I am so glad that you saw fit that I was worth it too, to come on and share with me once again, Amy. Thank you for coming on to the show today.
Thank you, Mary. And I'm so happy to say the book finally came in. I loved reading it by the manuscript, but it's even better reading it in the book. So yes, I'm happy to be here. Happy, Merry, Magnificent Monday.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me make sure. Okay. I had a scam caller just calling just now.
Well, maybe they needed to be intrigued too. Maybe they needed today's. Yeah,
thank you, Amy, for coming on the show to share with us once again. I'm telling you, the review on last week was phenomenal. Just your take on the book and all that you were able to gather. That's so inspiring as an author, just to hear someone else share your book and say what they got from it. Because, Amy, when we write books, and you're an author as well, and a co-author of The Rich Code.
Yes.
When we're writing books and we actually are writing it to reach people, it's not just for us, but it's for someone to pick it up and to be empowered and encouraged and inspired, and prayerfully that it will be able to impact their lives just as much as it has impacted ours. So when we hear other people share nuggets from my book and say what they got from it, that is just so overwhelming. So thank you again for coming on to share with us. So now, Amy, we're talking about Intrigue. This is the second part of that. But we're talking about on today, make the investment. You broke it down with market your product on last week.
Yes.
Now you said something to me, Amy, as it relates to market your product. You said, why did you start with that? When I said, what is it about you that is different? What is it about you that it's yours, it's uniquely yours, and you stand out above everybody else? The reason why I started with that, because so many times we don't really know what it really is about us that we have. We try to find those things within ourselves that we can pull out. Sometimes we compare ourselves to others, and we don't even realize that what that other person had to go through to get to where they are, what experiences that they really had to endure to be who they are. But there is something uniquely about us as individuals that God has put in us, that He has a purpose in us, and it's different, and can't nobody else do it like you. Nobody else do it like you. So that's why I started with that. So we're talking about today, make the investment. What do you have to say about it?
So first, I want to piggyback on something you said in the beginning. You said, it's interesting having somebody else give their insight on what you write. And I'll say, yes. And there's times where I'll go back and reread something I wrote and say, wow, that was pretty good. Or I didn't see that the first time. And that's just a reminder that we have a gift, and that many times we can't see it because we're so looking at what other people think that we don't see on the inside of it. But when we actually take the time to go inside with that gift and that spirit and write through it, then sometimes we are even amazed at what we did because we're actually just taken by it. So yes, that's why rereading, some people say, well, I don't remember, who was I interviewing the other day? Goes, Paul Tavares. And he was like,
I saw that.
And he was like, I didn't remember.
I wrote that.
Yeah. He said, "I'll go back and read my book." So it's an amazing gift. That's where you see, like, the gift of love just keeps on giving, like, seriously. And sometimes we're doing what we should, and we're being the pen, but the writer is within us. So yeah. So make the investment. Oh my goodness. So there's a lot that I pulled from this chapter. Starting with page 27, it says, "Perhaps you have heard the saying, anything worth having is worth fighting for. And I say, anything worth keeping is worth the fight." Okay, this is big. That right there on so many levels talks about things from jobs to relationships, to especially relationships, to different things, because you're going to have to learn. And sometimes learning, people don't want to learn. And so it's like a fight, right? It's a fight to want to stay in that relationship, to learn how to make it better, or fight to want to stay in that job because it got new management and you don't want to keep, working with them or whatever it is. So you're right. If it's worth it, then, anything worth keeping it is going to be worth the fight. That was big. I like that. I like how you put that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of times we have to know right away, what is it that we want? So whatever it is that we're doing, whether we're investing in a business, we have a partner in business with us, or a marriage, like you said, relationship. What is it that we really want? So if we're both are coming into agreement at the beginning to understand that we're both wanting to gain, we wanted to increase, we wanted to build each other up, we want to flourish together, not one tearing down the other. I don't care if you're my business partner, if you're my girlfriend, I want to see you win, right? I really, truly, sincerely want to see you win. So I want to be in it with you for the long haul, right? I want to be praying you through it. So once you enter into relationship, whichever it may be, whether it's business or, partnership, however, you have to understand what is the investment worth to you, really? Are you going to continue to invest your time and energy into something that is unproductive? So that if you see that there's something worth the investment, be willing to, you're going to have some downfalls. You're going to have some, you're going to have some blind sides. You're going to see things and say, "Oh, I didn't see that coming, but I'm built, I can handle it." And so once you realize, am I in this thing to win this thing? It's going to take both of us to do this together, right?
Yes.
So let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. And then in the end, we both win. But make the
investment. Am I in this thing to win this thing? Mary, that was wonderful. That is a hook, line, and sinker. All right. That was good. But you continue to say, you must invest time, study materials, finances in order to begin making an investment in anything. You must first believe in it. That's right. Okay. So so a lot of times people just get into something. Again, like you do so well of highlighting that in this chapter about, do you know what it's about? Do you know what the flip side you're going to get? Do you know what you're going to have to give in order to what you're going to receive? Do you understand the degree of effort and the degree of investment that you're going to have to make? Because it's important, because there are people who go into things blind and say, "Oh, well, I really want it," or "I really want to do this," or "I really like that person," or "I really like this." And then all of a sudden the truckload of work comes, or the fee, or the whatever it is. And they're like, "Oh no, I didn't sign up for this." So that was big. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely. You got to know what you're in for, just as you said, when we have our why, right? We always have our why, and we know why we want to do what we do. And we're so passionate about why we're willing to stick it out and do the work. And then when that time comes, okay, you have to invest in yourself. You have to put your money where your mouth is. So are you willing to make this investment in you? And then you're like, "Wait, I don't know if I really want that, because I don't plan to give all of that." And a lot of times we find that even in relationships, it happens the same way. You be so in love and so intrigued and so this and so that. And then when the time comes, like, okay, I don't know if I want to give that much of myself. I don't know if I'm willing to commit to all of that. So you have to be willing to do the work and to invest in you. I tell people, are you willing to spend, 40 hours on a job, and at the end of the week you don't get a paycheck? No, absolutely not. If you said, "I'm coming to work for you, and I'm going to be making X amount of dollars a year annually," and at the end of every week, every month, bi-weekly, however you get paid, you don't get anything back.
Right.
you'll be like, oh no, I have to stop. So
Right. I'm done. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned another thing too. You said on page 31 that in order to keep the stakes high, continue to raise the bar. This is one of my big things, to understand that life doesn't stand still. You're either going forward or you're slowly rolling backwards. So in order to keep staying up with the market or keep staying up with the relationship, whatever investment it is that you're making, you will need to keep going forward and raising that bar. You can't stay where you started. Like, you have to continue, you can't let the bread get stale. You have to keep going. So I think that's important, because a lot of people go, okay, I want to get to the top. And then when I get to the top, I can I can stand there with my flag and say that I made it. And then that's it. But it's not. You have to keep raising the bar. And that was so great for you to add that in there.
Yeah. Amy, even with relationships, with marital relationships or friendships, you have to continue to produce the best version of yourself. Who you are today will not be who you would be 2 years from now, even, who you were yesterday, at the beginning of the marriage. As you continue to go on and on, or in relationship or in business, you have to reinvent that. The world is changing every day. Look at us now. We're doing shows by the internet, virtual shows, So
Right.
if we're stuck on today and feel that we have already arrived, we're going to miss the times. Times are continuing to pass. I was just sharing with a dear friend of mine on the other day about a new invention that one of his acquaintances have. And we had a deep discussion about it. And I said, these are the days that we're living in. Times are changing.
Right.
What happens if the church decided that, no, I'm just going to do church as usual. And if they don't come into the house of the Lord, they won't get the word, right? What happens if churches just remain in that mindset of not willing to do or to become innovative and not to thrive? But we have to change with the times. So now they see we have to meet people where they are, especially with these millennials coming forward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to meet them where they are. And then once we get them to where they are, cultivate it, then we have to go higher. Wherever I am today, at this time, this place, this year, next year, I want to be so much further than that. Yeah.
Right. No, that's why you got to keep raising the bar, because like you said, once you mastered the skill, you plainly said in there, once you master your skill, continue working it while creating something new. I know that the internet can be intimidating for some people who weren't raised or around it. Like, I started on dial-up. So when they tried to tell me that I didn't have to dial up no more, I was like, wow, I don't know. I got that old, well, I don't know if I believe in all that spacey stuff and, no plug. But, if I was still on dial-up, I would be having problems. So we have to keep on, getting better and raising that bar.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, page 33 is near and dear to my heart, because it's one of Les Brown's thing too, the OQP, the only quality people. Now, page 33, you say, surround yourself with people who will add to your life. I think that is so important, because sometimes people stay smashed in situations because of obligation they feel, or because they have to be true to their past or true to their childhood or true to all these things except for themselves. But surround yourself with people who will add to your life. This doesn't mean that you want friendships to, only give, but you want maybe add insight, maybe add, peacefulness, add something like that. This is key, because what they say, you are the equivalent of your 5 closest friends or something like that. So this is important. Yeah.
Yeah. You are who you attract, and if you are the only person in your circle that has all the brains, that have all the skill sets, doing the most, your circle is entirely too small. There are seasons that we go through in cycles, right? So there are times that we are set in a space with people that we have to pour into, that we have to teach and train and give all that we can. But in the meantime, Amy, in between time, who's pouring into you?
That part.
Who's pouring into you? Who is filling you up? When you're depleted and you have given everything that you have to be a vessel that is willing to be open to receive as well. So you have to surround yourselves with people that can add to you, add value to you, increase your network, the same thing. So yeah, we can't stay stuck in the corner. dealing with the same people. And then when you see those people again the next year or the year after, and you're like, what are you doing? Oh, child, I'm not doing anything. This is same old, just sitting here, not doing much. So you'll never grow. You'll never grow. So I like to even teach our women, pardon me, Women of Treasure is the organization that I founded. I like to expose them to different culture, to meet different people, to get outside of their social circle, because a lot of times our tradition and all of the things that we have succumbed to have shaped us to be who we are. And I say in a whole nother chapter, in another chapter, is that, when you come out of where you are, you begin to see life in a whole different way. But if that's all you know, that's all you've been exposed to, that's all you're going to desire. But how about desiring something greater than what you already are accustomed to? Yeah. So we have to be willing to go higher.
Yeah. And your friends, they matter. They really do. They matter. And you don't, I think sometimes we allow loyalty to be an excuse for being mistreated. And I think we need to come away from that, because there's people that I've met in 10 minutes who have offered me more light than somebody I've known for 10 years. So it's very important that you stay open to what you feel and what you feel is right, instead of just numbers on the clock or numbers on the calendar or whatever. So yeah. Page 35, you said, sometimes you may just have to look yourself in the mirror and remember who you are. Love who you are, even when there is no one else around. Mary, let me give you an example. This rang true to me when I read this last night. So yesterday I had this thing for my boot camp. As you know, I had a glitch. I had put the wrong passcode on the wrong one. So I was literally standing there by myself in my Zoom waiting for all these people to show up. And at first I felt defeated. Then I remembered just what you put in this book. I said, I can do this, or I could do a video and send out, I have to make something of this moment. And I think that it's so important that you can look yourself, just like you said, look yourself in the mirror and remember who you are. Because just because nobody's there to cheer you on sometimes, just because the stands are empty, just because somebody's disagreeing with what you're doing, it doesn't mean that it's not for you to do. And if you love yourself, you will keep yourself in a position to just continue to grow instead of, shrivel and be sad and upset and whatever else. So I love that. Love who you are, even when there's no one else around. Oh,
no one else around. No one around. Sometimes, God allows us to go through those dark times. Sometimes he allows us to walk alone first to see if we're going to remain committed and consistent. That's the first thing. If we're going to remain committed and consistent, if he has called you to do something and you know that's what you're supposed to do, he wants to see if you're going to stick it out even when no one else is watching. Even when you're your own cheerleader, even when you don't have an audience, I'll preach to myself. There's some Sundays that I'll be like, hey, girl, I'm about to preach this right here to you, right? I don't care if no likes come in, no shares, no comments. I'm going to, matter of fact, Amy, I was doing that the other day. I went walking, right? And I had my time of meditation with God early in the morning. I did my time of meditation. I did my stretches, my affirmations, my gratitude, all of that. Spent time with God praying. And I said, I'm getting ready to go power walking, and I'm going to enjoy this time, because power walking for me does a lot. It clears my head. It relieves me of stress and tension. It gets me in a good place in my mindset. I can commune with God as I walk. I'm talking and he's talking back to me. He's letting me know what the next move, all of that. So I love it. And of course, girlfriend here has gained some weight over the pandemic year. And as much as I love to eat, I better be out there walking, right? So I pulled up to the track, Amy, and I was sitting in my car, and oh my God, everything came on me. I felt tired. I was heavy. I didn't feel like walking. It was hot outside. I hadn't gotten up early enough to get out there on the track early. And I sat in that car. I had to sit in that car for about 15 minutes to pump myself up and to talk myself, and all these committees in my head was saying, it's so hot. You can start over tomorrow. You don't have to get out there in that heat. And I was like, you know what? I really don't. It's really hot. But then I began to talk back to those committees, right? Because one thing that we have learned, Amy, is that those committees would talk us out of doing what we know that we're called and purpose to do. So I began to speak back to them. And you know what I began to say? Yeah, it really is hot out here. I can start tomorrow, but it's going to be hot tomorrow too. And as long as I'm walking all summer, it's going to be hot. So I might as well walk today. You know, when those committees start telling you, you know, you're going to fail, nobody will support you. You know, you won't be able to do it. What if you fail? Then you say, but you know what if I don't? What if I just do it, right? And see what happens? What if I just do it? So all of that, I had to encourage myself. And I began to ask God, you know, before I left the house in meditation, what is it, God, that you want me to say today? What is it that you want me to do or say to inspire someone else and to encourage our women of treasure? And that was it right there. He allowed me to sit in that car for 15 minutes just to challenge myself. So that was the word that I had to share on procrastination. Just do it. Whatever it is that you have made up in your mind to do, just do it. Do it if you got to do it alone. Do it if nobody's watching. Do it if nobody wants to follow you and be your cheerleader. You have to encourage yourself and just make things happen for you. So yeah, that's
absolutely. And that was so good about the committee. And, you know, I think a lot of people blame it on the devil, right? Well, the devil didn't let me do it. Well, the devil didn't. Well, it's the training ground in your head. So you got to kind of, like you said, talk back and say, well, you know what? It's going to be hot tomorrow too. Let me just do it. And the strength that you get from completing things, for showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you become that, you know, a lot of people want everything delivered at once. But if one, I don't even think we can see or visualize how big and how capable we are. So it has to come in bite-sized pieces so we can understand it. But the other part is, you're not going to give your kid who's 5 years old $1 million check, but you might give it to them when they're a certain age and ready for it. So that's the same thing with us. Well, if you can't go out there on that track in 90-degree weather, how am I going to put you on a stadium in front of 20,000 when it feels like a billion degrees? You have to be willing to prepare, you know? So yeah. I loved this chapter. I like them all, but you know, everybody has their thing. This was a very, I kept saying yes in this chapter. Yes. So I really encourage people to read it all, but really take their time with make the investment, because there's a lot of really big little golden gems that if you read past it, you may read past it. So take your time with it, because Mary, you really honed in on a lot of really good points there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me go to my next marker, because you know I've marked it all up. Needs, wants, and desires. This was a very philosophical, very philosophical, deep chapter. You know, the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and human beings. We are all created by the master. I thought, wow, okay, yes, we must remember, one, that we are purposely designed. You know, we're here from the master, you know, so great opening. Page 94, talk about how needing to live and breathe and wanting to be needed and loved by someone will bring you to a place of desire. And then searching for love in all the wrong places confuses what you need with the things you want. I can just put the book down right there, because there's a lot to be said right there. So there's a lot of times I know for me, you know, sometimes you bite off more than you can chew because you didn't want it for the right reasons. And then it becomes a problem instead of a blessing. And it was because you wanted it. You didn't weigh, like you said, on the investment, see what it's all about and put it all together. So, wow, I like this chapter as well.
Yeah, those needs, wants, and desires. You know, a lot of times when we think about what we need, what we really need, as I said in the chapter, birds need air. They need it, and without it, they cannot fly. You know, fish need water. Without it, they cannot swim. And plants need soil. Without it, they cannot grow. And a lot of times we think that we need something, and we really, really don't. We really, really don't. You know, when I look back over my life and I think about the things that I thought that I needed, or the relationships that I was in, and I thought that I needed that, right? And then in hindsight, because the relationship was ruptured for whatever reason, In hindsight, I look back at it and I was like, oh my God, thank you for not giving me the desire of my heart, because I felt like that was something that I wanted. And you saw that, God has a way of just protecting his children. A lot of times what we think may be a dead end or a detour is God just rerouting us. He's rerouting us to another place, another season in life, another place in time. And exactly, to be in position to want more and to desire more. So I had to bring that chapter out. I wrote that chapter, Amy, as I shared before on many of my platforms, as I went through a very devastating divorce. I wrote that chapter at a time when I was homeless for 45 days, living in a hotel room. I wrote that chapter when I was walking down the street at night, getting my clothes out of my car because I was too embarrassed and ashamed, and I didn't want people to know my struggle. And I'm still preaching, I'm still serving, and I'm still blessing people. I'm still tithing and giving and blessing the man of God and doing all that I know how to do. And yet I was living in my car, from my car to the hotel. And my children, I would have them in the hotel room with me. And they thought they were on vacation with mommy. They were younger, much younger at the time. They didn't know. They didn't have a clue. They enjoyed it. They got to swim every day when they wanted to go swim. So they enjoyed it. But I was so broken inside. I was dealing with so much, but I had to put on this mask. I didn't want my children to feel what I felt. I didn't want them to go through the suffering and feel the pain that I was feeling. So I had to put on this mask, and I had to tough it out, and I had to be in this thing. I'm going to say it again, Amy, to win this thing, right? And so while they were asleep at night, I would go back down to the car and I would fill my arm up with all of these clothes over my arm, because I had left. My little Jeep at the time that I had was packed to the ceiling. But how the Jeep has those little covers over it. Nobody can see what was underneath, and I had tinted windows, so nobody knew. But my Jeep was packed with my clothes and my kids' things, and I would go and throw stuff on my arm and go back into the room and check in the room and hang the clothes in the closet, and they would wait. I was really sending my kids to school from the hotel, and they was just like happy-go-lucky. They didn't have a clue. They remembered this movie, this show, The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I don't know if who
I've heard it. Yeah.
It's about a single mom who's a very pretty woman like you, Amy.
Oh, thank you.
This Caucasian lady with 2 Caucasian boys, and they lived in a hotel. And the mom was still working, still doing all, she had this boss move. She was doing her thing, and her 2 sons. She was divorced, and that's the picture that I painted for them, because they used to watch that show. So I said, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll move into a hotel, because right now I got to move, and I got to move quickly. My life was at danger. There was a whole lot at stake, and I had to make a bold move, Amy. I had to make a bold move. So I'm like, okay, I don't have time to try to look for an apartment and try to find a house. I don't have time to do all this. I don't have time to get electricity on. And I'm saying this for some woman that may be stuck, that may be in a state of mind that she doesn't know how she's going to get out, that she may be struggling through domestic abuse or dealing with a narcissist or whatever, and you need a way of escape. If you have a little money saved up, you got to do what you got to do, right? And so that's what I did, and I felt like I was in a secure place, and I moved into a hotel. So needs, wants, and desire was birthed out of all that. I saw people that was homeless on the street, that was laying on cardboard boxes. I saw people going to dumpsters, getting bones out of the dumpster of chicken and whatever they can eat that was thrown away. And then it all came to me. Oh my God, needs, wants, and desires. When you think that you really need something, girl, you're pretty good. You're going through all this hell by yourself and nobody knows, but there are so many people that are struggling. At least you can go into a hotel room and lay your head on a pillow. Right. This dude right here is laying on a cardboard box, so thank God for your blessings. Be grateful in the moment. Right. And that's where needs, wants, and desires was birthed. I was writing that while I was struggling. Yeah.
Oh, it makes so much sense, hearing that and then reading it. Wow, I could see where it was they were true moments for you, and that's why you
Yeah.
wrote them. You mentioned in there how um, a person who has no food knows what it's like to be hungry or something like that. And I will
Right.
tell you that when I went through my big thing, I went back to a point where your stomach was rumbling and you fed your kids first. And this is when I was already grown. So I know your struggle, and I had to keep a smile on my face because it was the first time as an adult my kids had seen me struggle. I had struggled before when they were younger and they were whatever, but as young, 19, 20-year-old kids, it was a different scenario. And for,
Right.
like you said, for that woman out there who might be struggling, let me remind you that kids are resilient. There was a situation where I was hit by an 18-wheeler and I had to walk my kids to school. And it was in Bakersfield, California in the winter where the ice crunched in the morning because of the how cold it was. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm walking my kids in this. I felt so bad because I had no car. I had nothing. I had nobody to ask for a ride. And you know what? My kids loved it. They thought it was so awesome that mommy could walk them to
Yes.
school, and I would boost them over one of the back fences so we didn't have to walk all the way around. They thought that was a game when really I was trying to save my legs in the winter.
Exactly.
But they would be like, "Bye, mom," and they'd be so happy when I boosted them over the other side of the fence. So when I tell you that kids are resilient and your love is what matters to them, please know that, because they don't I asked them, here they are, they're well into their 20s now, but I asked them, I said, do you remember that winter when we walked on that cold, it was cold, it was 30 something degrees or whatever it was, and the grass was crunching. They're like, nope. So it's like, know that there's some things that they won't even remember. And when they do, they thought it was a game. You're seeing as you are in your age. You seeing your situation as you did in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s or whatever age you're going through, what you're going through. But your kids see it in the eyes of a kid. So, just know that it's going to be okay. I mean, Mary, and myself have been through things that probably would have caused some people just to stop and give up. But we're here to tell you, keep going,
That's
so.
right. That's right. Absolutely. Do it all.
Yep. 96, you said, you said it all in this sentence, pretty much almost everything we're talking about. You said, never let your circumstances dictate your future.
That's right.
I mean, you're worth so much. And there's lessons and seasons. And the thing is, I think sometimes some of our downfalls or some of our situations come from us not wanting to let go because we were afraid of what was going to come. Like, for instance, had you stayed in your situation, some people stay there because they're too afraid of what's going to happen. We say we trust God, we believe God, we have faith, we believe. But when you're told to let something go, when you're told that this is not good for you, when you're told to stop doing something, we tend to hold on to something out of fear. And so all it does is just create worse. And Luke 12:22, again, the way you put the scriptures on the end for people to look at, I mean, it's so important because, pouring into purpose and pouring into the need and the want and the desire. Luke 12:22, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. I mean, it's in the scripture. Like, some of you right now are scared. You're looking at your cupboard and you're going, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Well, how about you flip to Luke 12:22? I mean, Mary, you gave us a sword here. You gave us something to pull out and just slash fear right here. So amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. And that a lot of the book from the beginning to the end is things that I've either experienced or know someone that I was very closely to that I had to walk through with, but a lot of the book are intertwined about different little segments of my life, And I remember there was a time, like I said, and you said it so well with children, how resilient children are. They don't get it. They don't really know. And I think it's important as parents that we protect our children. And they don't have to live the life that we're living. We can create a better life for them. They don't have to experience the same experiences that we've had. We can shield them from that. But there are some times that they're going to go through some things and they're going to learn on their own. And then they're going to come back and they're going to ask, and then you'll be able to tell them. But I remember even a time that I went through, Amy, not even having enough money, not even know if my lights are going to be turned off at one point or not, and they were off at one point, or another. And this was when I had my youngest, she's 36 now, so this was many years ago, going through my time. But I learned how to light a candle. I learned how to, and this is what I would do, Amy. I would say, sweetie, guess what? We're gonna have movie night, we're gonna have dinner by candlelight. I would do things like that. And I would light a candle because I didn't want them to think, oh my God, because our burdens should not be our children's burdens,
Right.
And I lit a candle and we had dinner by candlelight. And when it was movie night, I had a flashlight on, and we just told stories and talked about movies and that sort of thing. I did whatever I had to do. And so I want to encourage somebody that may be left alone, that may feel that they have no one and don't know what they're going to do. Just as long as you trust in the word of God and you pray to the one that created you, you go to him for the answers. He's going to direct you and he's going to give you everything that you need. So the same way that he brought you into something is the same way he'll bring you out and bring you up even higher. A lot of times, Amy, people see us at this level in life, in this stage in life, and they desire certain things, but they don't understand the processes that you had to go through to get to where you are or to become who you are today, because every day, every single day of life is about becoming. It's about becoming. That's right. Every day. Yeah.
Every single day. And you're so right. You said it so well. Your kids don't have to know what you're going through when you're going through it. And I think that's where true strength comes in, when you're able to facilitate your joy for your children in the midst of your own storm. Well, that's what separates you from the average mind, is when you say, I'm going to be outside my circumstance. Because a lot of times, let's look at it. I have slept in a car in my life, but the thing is, am I still sleeping in my car? Right. And the other thing is, make a game out of life. See what I know for me, I started challenging things like, okay, when I'd see like a negative in my account, I would say, okay, all it needs is one more bar to make it a positive. I'll take that. Like we take some of the small challenges of life as a detrimental thing because we don't want others to see us in this way. It has really nothing to do with the fact that you're going to get paid in 2 days and everything's going to be all right. You just want Jimmy, John, Joe, or Mary to see you without electricity or whatever it is. But the truth is that really a problem? Is it really a problem? Is it going to be okay? Yes, it's going to be okay. Yes, it's going to be okay. I just feel like you have to be in a place with yourself to say, this isn't, like you said, this isn't my end destination right here. This is where I need to keep walking from to get to, past what I'm going through to get where I'm going. So, yeah. So
absolutely.
A lot of times about looks. Well, it's going to look messed up, or, my car's loud, my muffler's broke. Well, you have
don't talk about the cars. Don't talk about Don't talk about the cars. Oh my goodness. Yes. Going down the street and putt and smoking and all of that stuff. Been through all of that.
Yeah. We're going to walk today because we're out of gas and mom doesn't get paid for 2 days. Okay. There's all kinds of little things that we had to make happen. And what's beautiful about that is you teach your kids that to be open with circumstance. Don't let it paralyze you, but to be open with it. Okay, you're not using the car today. Guess what? Pebbles and Bam Bam are working great. Let's go ahead and walk. Let's, okay, there's no milk for a cereal. Okay, let's have dry cereal today. Not a problem. You teach kids to be resilient, and then you also teach them to, be open with their circumstance instead of paralyzed. Because a lot of times, if something says no, people just stop. Well, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing about it because I can't do that. And so that's it. No, that's not it. There's always a corner or another door or a different window. So stay encouraged.
Stay encouraged. That's right. Stay encouraged and just be focused in the moment. Look at the bigger picture. I'm reminded of a time, Amy, I was in business management, HR, human resources, hiring people, training people, doing orientations, all of that, thriving in my career at that time. And then there was a time that I just didn't have it, you know, that everything shut down, that where the company merged and you were without a job. So something can happen at the blink of an eye, you know. You have to understand who you are and who you're called to be, you know,
Mhm.
and know that the bigger picture, if you see the bigger picture, that's all I need to see is
Right.
the bigger picture. I
Mhm.
may not understand how I'm going to get to that place, how I'm going to reach that, but
Right.
I saw it. You
Yeah.
gave me a glimpse of it. So now
Mhm.
that I saw that glimpse, I know the end is going to be brighter than today. So that's how we have to keep on moving forward in life. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So Amy, thank you for sharing. I just want to like thank you for sharing. Make the investment and manage the time. Market your product, all of these chapters, and I'm looking forward to my book bash coming up soon. This Saturday, as a matter of fact. So
Wow.
this Saturday already, it's here. I'm looking forward to those who want to share at the book bash. Did you have any more before we go forward in the book bash?
Oh no, I just wanted to say that you are amazing. Thank you for having the courage and for the determination to, from start to finish, a thought to a book. That's inspiring. So and congratulations on the book bash. I wish I was closer. If I was closer, I would definitely be there. I sure would, with my crown and all. You better believe it.
Well, actually, you know, I'm going to have the book bash set up in a designated spot with a few people, but I'm actually going to do it virtually, so you can be there.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to do
Okay.
it's designated because of COVID and all, and the way things are set up. I didn't want to be, you know, bringing too many people together in one space, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a real intimate setting. But we're going to go virtually, and on Saturday coming, which is the 14th at
Correct.
5 o'clock p.m. Central
Mhm.
Standard Time, we will begin the book bash. So the way that I have it set up, and for all of our listeners that are watching, it's going to be our VIP. I'm calling it our VIP because we know all of us are very important people, right?
Indeed.
But we're gonna we're very important people, every single one of us. But these VIPs are those who are very intriguing. You're very
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. So it's going to be a book bash that we're going to have. So we're going to go live. And when you see us live on the air, well, you already have your book too, Amy, but you're welcome to come and join in with me, you know, because you're my girl. So you're welcome to come on. But those who have not already received their book, we're going to go live on this coming Saturday at 5 o'clock p.m. When you see us live in our book bash, you can join in. Cash App $35 to Mary J1, and you'll see all the information will be on the screen at that time. You'll be able to cash app me. And once we receive your payment of $35 for the book bash, you'll be able to come on live with us, like Amy is right here on the screen with me today. You'll be on the screen with me on Saturday, and we can jail for a second or two. And then you'll receive your autographed copy. You'll drop your address and your email address, your mailing address and your email address in our private chat room. And I'll make sure that I put that book in your hand as soon as I can. So you'll get that book autographed. You'll be
Wow.
FaceTime with us, just like Amy and I are here today. Also receive highlights and updates on the book and what we have to offer. And you'll become a part of our mailing list, and we'll stay connected. So that's all a part of the VIP, the very intriguing person. That's who you are. That's who you are. You'll be able to join us for our book bash coming up this Saturday. And for those that have already gotten their book, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you for going out, purchasing the book. It's going to bless and enrich your life. I am sure of it. And for those who say, well, Mary J, I want to come on. I know I'm a very intriguing person, but I just want the book. I may not get your autograph, Mary J. I just want to read the book. You can do that as well. If you cash at me directly at Mary J1 or PayPal at Mary J Enterprise at Gmail, and all, like I said, all of that information will be on the screen. If you cash at me directly, you'll receive the book for $25 shipped directly to you. Now, if you go on Amazon, you'll be able to get the book on Amazon and they will ship it directly to you right where you are. You'll pay taxes and shipping unless you have Prime, and you can get it without any taxes. Prime girl, Prime girl. Yeah, yeah. So thank you all for today. And Amy, thank you so much for just the wealth of information that you have shared. Awesome. Awesome. And I know you go through the book, you highlight, you might see that's how I read too. That's just how I read. I go through chapter by chapter, page by page. I do that with my Bible as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I draw underneath. I put asterisks by that really spoke to me. I highlight. And so, yeah, the book is that type of book. It has strategies in there to help you win in life, whether it's from marketing, entrepreneurship, building wealth, building your esteem, relationship. And then it gets a little deep because we haven't talked about sex toys. And guess what? I'm not going to talk about it. I want to wait until you get to that chapter for yourselves, you know, to see what that is all about. But it is intriguing. It's captivating. It's stimulating. So thank you so much, Amy, for sharing with me on today. Did you have a happy, merry Monday, Amy?
Yes, a magnificent happy merry Monday. Yes, I did.
And so thank you for sharing with us. I can't wait to hear more about your boot camp. Will you let the people know what you're doing, the services that you are providing, and where they can connect with you as well, Amy?
Absolutely. So I do have a boot camp actually starting tomorrow. It is for ladies only this time, and it is a safe, happy place for women. It's a motivational boot camp, 6 weeks, 12 sessions of just pure motivation. I'll also have guest speakers on there on Saturday sessions. I am having information night to night. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll be able to see the link and the password to get in there. You can go to www.thepickledheart.com and find out what services I do provide. And Instagram is @LadyBolding and TikTok is @LadyBolding1. So I'm out there and I'm happy to serve in any way that I can. And I hope to connect with some of you. And I'm excited about Mary's very intriguing people party. So thank you again for having me on here, Mary. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Amy. And listen, I'm new at TikTok, so I haven't been on TikTok, but I've been following you on TikTok, and it's been ticking. It's been ticking and talking. I've been enjoying it. You know, I just started TikTok just recently, and I love what you're doing over there. And especially, Amy, have you given the information again? I know we did on last week, but have you given them the information about YouTube? Because your YouTube and all of the, oh my gosh, the wealthy nuggets that you share, the audible voice, your voice is beautiful, by the way, so are you.
Thank you.
But all of the information and the motivational tips that you share on YouTube is impactful. Can you share that with me?
Yeah, so YouTube is Lady Bolding Live. Lady Bolding Live, LIVE. And then my podcast also has those that I've interviewed. I've started putting them on my podcast as well. So if you want to listen to it while you're driving or whatnot, I'm available on 9 platforms. The podcast is I Can, I Will, I'm Worth It. And it has solo casts with just me on there, you know, throwing inspiration at you. And then there's also the interviews and that I've had on my show that I've actually downloaded on there. So I think it's important that we spend our time growing and knowing. And so a lot of my stuff, it's not necessarily comedy. It's not, well, I will make you laugh. And that's one of the guarantees that I start out with is you're going to either laugh at me or with me. And I truly mean that because I'm liable to either mess something up or try to make a punny joke and mess it up. So you will get a little laughter in it. But I do it out of love. And my goal is to spread love, hope, and courage into the entire world, one person at a time. And that will be my song from now until the end. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you're doing that. You're spreading love through the entire world. And it's just captivating, your presence, you know. And like I said in the beginning, we see so many beautiful people, especially as beautiful women. But sometimes when we get up close in person, there's a whole lot of ugliness on the inside. It's like, yo, she looks good, but she has a nasty attitude. She has really ugly disposition. But you know, what you see is what you get when it comes to Amy Golden, guys. So, you know, spreading love abroad, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing with us on Real Talk with Mary J. Happy Merry Monday, everybody.
Monday.
Thank you for coming on again, Amy.
Thank you.